present as well. We do work for a bunch of different ones like Evolution, Emergent, Accenture, Arvato, and Theta. These are all the members, pictures you saw previously, and we represent quite a diverse group of companies. And today's sponsors are Arvato Bertelsmann and Workland. Would be nice if Andre would say a couple of words about our lovely host, Workland.
It's a place where the work never ends. That's Workland. Yeah, welcome again. It's getting a good habit to see you all here and enjoying the good drinks and food. Nevertheless, the year 2023 is already active since nearly 2 months. Yeah. And somehow I have the feeling we should maybe also do a bit more than only the meetups. So that's one of the reasons why, if you stay or find some topics which you would like to develop this year, with people next to you, with us, with Workland, there's locations in Riga, in Tallinn, in Vilnius, and Kaunas. Let's do something. I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's always an awesome year, but you know, there's some tricky stuff around currently, but let's make an awesome year out of this. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you for providing these lovely premises, and a lot of the setup you can see here and online, especially online, all this nice OBS layovers and transitions is provided by Workland premises and the lovely people who work here. And the food and drinks here today are sponsored by Arvato Bertelsmann, and the stickers with all the cool memes, those are made by us as well. So, that's for that, and this is not the correct slide. Let's go. That's it. All right, let's get into this. So, a round of applause for Ibrahim. Should work in a second.
Yep. Hello everybody, thank you for joining. My name is Ibrahim. I'm today came to present GitOps Fine, the cloud infrastructure with a Crossplane. So a bit about me. I'm working in Accenture. I'm specialized in GitOps, AWS, DevOps. I love Kubernetes. I have some certificates showing my love for Kubernetes. I am around 13 years in the field, working in 5 companies, successfully joined 22 projects. This was about me. Yeah, our agenda today is we speak about history, infrastructure, about the infrastructure automation history, what is actually GitOps. I have one problem I want to discuss with you and how I'm able to solve it. What's Crossplane? How Crossplane actually work? And we deep dive in Crossplane component, and then we will have demo, and then after that we will hope able to answer your questions. So about infrastructure automation history. So we started actually to do infrastructure manually, then moving to scripts. We used PowerShell, Bash. It's according to your which infra you use, and then the configuration management came. So we used Puppet, Chef, Ansible. I'm a fan of Ansible. And then after that, infrastructure as a whole, there is declarative and component, one CloudFormation, Terraform, CDK, Bloomy, CDK, Terraform. And then finally, we have control panel, which is Crossplane. This is about it. So, about GitOps. So for me, GitOps is like depend on 4 pillars. Like declarative configuration, maybe using YAML, version control like Git, automation for operations like Argo CD, and continuously reconciling. So before we were using CI/CD, now we're using CI/CD with the GitOps way. So you commit your code, you have your image, and then after you move your image to the registry. So this is a simple way. And what is new in GitOps, simply you just pulling instead of pushing your changes from manifest and charts to your cluster. In my opinion, the main part in GitOps is reconciliation loop. So you have your desired state, what you want in the cluster, and then you have the current state. The current state present what is inside your cluster. If something happens, a change related to anything, the reconciliation loop will adjust it to be what you desire to have. This is about it. Hope the next slide will come. Yeah. So what's the problem? Yeah, actually, to achieve the true GitOps, you need to have infrastructure and application follow the GitOps approach. And with this, both you will face simply multiple challenges, like complexity, a lot of tools, a lot of languages. And this is always a problem. Okay, so what is my solution actually is using Kubernetes, Argo CD, Crossplane. And with those 3 tools, you will able to provide the infrastructure and application with the same way, like what you're doing with whatever, like your application will be the same like your infrastructure for provisioning. And you will use only one simply type language, which is YAML. And you follow the GitOps principle. So Kubernetes, it's simply the underlayer infrastructure, what we use for deployment, scaling, and the containerized application. So, and also now we will use it plus for infrastructure as a code. The Argo CD comes the place for operator, which is using to simply get all your stuff from Git and make sure it's already in Kubernetes. So this way you follow your desired state will be the current state. It's syncing like in Argo CD, maybe the default is 60 seconds, as I remember. You can change it maybe to be 30 seconds. So in this case, you will have what is in Git, you will have it in your cluster. And this is one of the GitOps principle. So Crossplane. The Crossplane actually, it's tool extension of Kubernetes to able to provision multiple infrastructure using simply the native Kubernetes way. Like using YAML, you're able to manage multiple infrastructure with infrastructure as a code, of course. By combining all of these tools, you have less complexity and also less language to use, as I mentioned before. So this is a solution diagram, what should be like. So you have someone pushing the application and also infrastructure in GitHub. The Argo CD will detect the change, pull it, and then decide, okay, this is a Kubernetes application definitions, then we'll deploy in Kubernetes. It's a Crossplane, managed resources, it will deploy to the Crossplane, then the Crossplane will communicate to the AWS or Google or Azure, what you have in public cloud. And with this way, you kind of don't have so much tools, you don't have so much language used. So why actually we're using a Crossplane? It's declarative, one of GitOps pillars, it's open source, of course, it's single truth of infrastructure. It's extendable as a Kubernetes, actually extendable. It's also the cross-plane extendable. As you extend anything, you get the same actually behavior. It's also automated. You can able to automate your infrastructure, reconciling, and your deployment, your application and infrastructure, it's deployed with the same way as you deploy your application. Also, they have these concerns different between application and platform. So it's kind of, they have separated this really good. So yeah, you write your code, it's YAML, it's really so close to anything you defined in Kubernetes. Maybe both, maybe deployment. So you define, in this case, you define your RDS instance. Crossplane will detect the deployment and deploy it in your cloud. So there is actually components where a Crossplane use to deploy the infrastructure. We have providers, as I mentioned, you can able to provide infrastructure for different cloud, so Google, Azure, AWS, also anything have an API, you can develop code for it and use the API to provision, even if it's not infra. So you can use, maybe you can integrate with Git to create a repository using the Crossplane. So it's really able to extend and flexible depending on your use case. There is a provider configuration, which is configures the provider. In most of cases, you will have in this configuration the secrets. Where is your secret of your cloud provider? We have managed resources. So the managed resources is like SS3, EC2, the infrastructure. So it's mapped to what is in cloud, but with a Kubernetes style composition, and it's like template of multiple resources. So usually in your application or your system, you will have different services using from your provider, and you would like to have it as a composite. Composite resources is the resources what is using to provision the composition. Yeah. So composite resources definition. This is a definition. How you define your API. So it's using open API schema to define your composite. And the claims in the end the same like composition, but in different scope. So it's namespace scope. So in Kubernetes world, you have cluster scope, namespace scope. So why actually it's namespace scope? So you can have different teams. Every team can able to claim your composite and use your infra differently. So provider. So as you see, as I mentioned before, the provider is just something to communicate with your external services outside the Kubernetes. The configuration is a configuration for the provider. Yeah, there is a big part of the code. So you have the API version, kind of what this resource is kind. So it's provider and the provider name and also the package of it. After that, you need to say to this provider, where is your secrets? So you're using provider configuration. So in here, in this case, I'm using AWS. I would like to show where is the secret. Where is the secret? It's Crossplane system, namespace. The secret name is AWS secrets and the secret code. And with this, with both files or both YAML file, you're able to deploy it in your cluster, and then you have communication with your provider. So managed resources. Managed resources simply, it is resources managed by Kubernetes inside the cluster, represent something maybe inside the Kubernetes or outside. So you can use also like Kubernetes provider or Helm provider, or in this case, we're using AWS provider. So you define your resources in YAML file. In this case, it's RDS instance. So I define the instance, kubectl apply as you apply your code or your deployment, apply to the cluster. The resource instance managed will communicate with the provider, ask the AWS to provision the RDS instance in this case. You have the RDS instance, you need to save a secret of this instance in your Kubernetes. So it's kind of output of the system. And again, the provider will check if your Postgres instance, it is inside the AWS still, something changed, the reconciliation will detect the problem and trying to redeploy your instance or change the configuration, what is changed. So with managed resources, you can have S3, whatever, any resources in AWS or Google or Azure, it's dependent. So this is how you can write the code of RDS instance. Have the name, what's the provider? So for the provider, you use which region you have, the database size, the username, what you would like to use, how much storage, what engine, what's the version of the engine, and where you would like to save the secret. So this is important when you would like to use the secrets again. So the Kubernetes pods will, or deployment you have, will detect where is the secret and use it. So you will have the kind of closed solution with this way. Not only secret can save, also parameters of your database, maybe URL, whatever you would like to have. Composition, again, it's template for creation multiple resources at once. So you have application composition, have EKS, S3, and maybe network. So this will be packaged in one resource. This is example of composition. So this composition actually is using GCP. So as we see, there is namespace where your secret will be, a bit the resource itself, and here also the resource have some configuration for network. With this you have the network plus your database, and as we see here, it's patches, so you can able also to have some variables in your system. So with this way, you can change say, in this case, we have the storage of the database. With the composition resource, as we see, we have composition resource, we have the claimer, which is simply used to claim the resources, and the composition resources depend on composite managed resource, which is Google. In this case, it's Google SQL instance and the FHIR rules. So you combine both, you have a composition resource, and you're able to claim it in your namespace. So you have two teams or more, they can use the same composite resource, what you define and what you create, and use it as is, or they can change variables what you have. So this is how it's look. The composition resource you claiming, yeah. So this is how it's look. So you have simply you just eliminate the number of parameters as you save it in the composition, and then you just claim the composition with this way, right? So you have here in this case you just would like to change the name maybe of this resource and how much storage you want to use. So the application team don't have a lot of stuff to change or care about, as already the platform team already creates the composite. This is how you define the composition. Okay, so as I mentioned before, using API, Open API schema, which is the standard, V3 as I remember, and you can, with the definition, you can define your composite resources and claims. So here is the example of it. As you see, you can, the kind of composition resource definition, what is the name of of it, also what the API group will use, the name of the composite. So in this case, you will have kind and plural of kind, so the like pod and pods. So the same way, like in this case, we have X PostgreSQL instance or X PostgreSQL instance. And again, the claimers will be the same, maybe name without the X's, as the X is a composite. So in this case, when you would like to claim this composite, you will use just Postgres instance, and you will have able to have multiple versions. So here it follows a Kubernetes standard way, like alpha, beta, and so on. The important part of the custom resource definition is the OpenAPI v3 schema, which is a schema which defines the parameters and the configuration, what you would like to have, and variables. So in this case, we have only one variable, which is storage GB, and it's required. And the whole parameters, inside the parameters is object, and all the parameters is actually required. So the claimers is the same, the composite resource, but have different namespace scope. So this is how it looks. We just remove the X, and this is the same like the composite resource. So in this case, you will have resource instance. Maybe you can have more advanced, so you can claim the same, but for all your application. Imagine you have Kubernetes, on top of it you have network configuration, on top of it you have Lambda, and so on. You can define all of this in composition, and you just claim it, so your application team not concerns about details. So this is how it looks from, this is how it looks from the application side. You have your application, and your application and add team able to claim the composition, composite, and the composite resources and composite definition showing the definition and the composite itself, and then in the end you will have your managed resources. So the platform team care about the composition resource definition and composite resource. The application team just claim as a user for those resources. With this way, you will have really kind of solid or separate of concerns between the application team and the platform team. So I was so fast, I think, which is good, in my opinion. So we'll have a demo. So the demo will present how we can actually deploy the managed resource using the Argo CD and Crossplane. So I would like to demo how to present demo DB and bucket in the AWS. So I have already some code in GitHub, Argo CD already installed, and providers and secrets and configuration already installed. And with this way, I will able to deploy the bucket and AWS using the DevOps approach. Maybe I can show. Start show the demo. The demo will take. I was so fast, I think. I don't know. But the demo will take a bit time. Let's see. Oh. Okay. So Docker actually is not. This is good. It will take time to start. Let's see. Okay. So I don't know. I should be happy or not, but I forget to start Docker before the presentation. So let's see if it will start or not. I hope so. It will start.
Maybe we can do a quick question from the audience while we wait for.
Yeah, sure. So if you have a question while the Docker started, please ask. Yeah.
Question about those custom, those three things that were in the platform side. Can I
This one.
yeah, composite resource and resource definition. Can we just again go through what's the difference between them?
Okay, composite resource and definition, right? So this is a definition which is defines the composite. So simply you have to have one composite, you have two things to have: the composite itself and the definition. So definition is defined how you will use the composite. So this is the definition of the composite resource. So the composite resource definition is the same like custom resource definition of Kubernetes. So they're using the same simply everything. They're using the same schema ways, same how they write the code. So it's custom, like the custom resource definition is composite resource definition is custom resource definition of Kubernetes. So this is simply define how your composite look like. This is just the difference. The composite itself, it has your resources. Like if you have, like we can show actually more code. Yeah. So as you see here, it's have your resources what you want to deploy. The actual resources what you want to deploy. I hope I answered your question.
So with that definition, we can say that it can be, we define this composition.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, good. I
Okay.
understood.
Welcome. Okay, I think Docker is up. So let me check if also Kubernetes is up. Okay, we have one node, which enough for me. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I will log into Argo CD. It's in my local, so don't copy the password, please. It's my local machine, so yeah, this is the first vulnerability we have. Okay, and I will just go to Git and okay. So I will deploy one application using Argo CD, and I hope it will work. So the application will show how the managed resources work. So it's simple Argo CD application. Have where I will deploy. So I will deploy the application in my local Kubernetes. I'm using this path for the same actually Git repository. Yeah, and also the automation and self-healing and purge is all true. So it should automatically deploying everything. Create now the app. Okay, save. It should be okay. Okay, while the app is created, we can actually take a look on what resources actually we try to deploy. So it's Crossplane, V1 managed resources. So I would like to deploy in simple way 3 managed resources: S3, DynamoDB, table, and S3 version. So how it's look? So the API, what I will use, the bucket, which is what service I would like to have, the name of it, which region I would like to deploy this bucket, and which configuration I should use. And if you wonder how the DynamoDB is almost so close, so you have table kind for the DynamoDB AWS Abound API, and have the name, resource, some configuration for the table, capacity read, and so on, and the attribute with the table. So it's really simple to show how just be able to deploy. And also the versioning, I would like to enable the S3 version. So this is this is one of cases what we would like to have. So, yep, while we speak, it's already deployed the table, the bucket, and the bucket version. So I did not do anything, it's pulling everything and deploy it. If I change something in Git, should appear here, we will see that. And let's see actually which resource is created. So bucket. So yeah, kindness bucket. So I will just try to get this cube or k kubectl. Its alias get the bucket. So here is the bucket, and as we see here is like ready and synced. That means it's already on the AWS. So this is what we will see. Let's see if we want to log into. Yeah. So, yep. So this is the bucket what I created, right? Yeah, it's already created, everything is fine, and I would like to actually do something. So I would like to watch how it is and delete the bucket to see if the Crossplane able to reprovision it or not. So let's delete the bucket, what we created, and see if it will come. So someone going and destroying your system, hey, false, it's detected there is something wrong, and it should in 30 seconds, maybe less, reprovision, maybe less. We will see. So when it's ready, sync it. That means the bucket is back. Should be. Yeah. So the bucket is here. Also, if we would like to change configuration, we can able to change this back. And if, yep, I'm destroying my setup. It's suspended, but in our configuration, I already would like to it be enabled. So here this should be the bucket version, yes. So I think it's not a good idea to show here. So, yep, this is a desired manifest file, what I want, and it's enabled. So I expect from Crossplane detects that I changed the configuration and change it back. Let's see if this time will work. Yep, as you see, it's back again. So this is the idea of reconciling, right? So this means Kubernetes, the Crossplane able to solve the problem of reconciliation. If I change something, it will self-healing. As the same, like if you delete both from your replica will recreated.
Sorry, but
Yep.
Does it do the Crossplane or it is done by Argo CD?
It is done by Crossplane. So, for if Argo CD is not actually refreshed, right? It's not refreshed. Yeah, so it's done by Crossplane, not Argo CD. If I change something in Git, it will change by Argo CD. So we can actually make a test. This is a good idea. Do we have time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what we can do here is, well, yep, let's disable autosync. Yeah. This means Argo CD not doing anything, right? Okay. And let's go and delete something from there. Let's delete this one again. Well, I deleted, so I kind of trust Crossplane, so let's see. It would be so bad if not working. Yeah, I should pray now, right? Let's see. Okay, not yet. So, why I'm sure, or kind of sure, let's see. that I already configure somehow okay, configure the control configuration to pull it every second, right, from Crossplane. So with this configuration, every second, the Crossplane going and check the deployments of the managed resource and try to re-provision it to the AWS. So let's see if I am wrong. Yeah, what is that? Okay, interesting. It should work.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, it's fine. It should work as it's not from Argo CD. I'm sure about that. Due to Argo CD is not even refreshed or doing anything, right? So this is something weird. I don't know why, but yeah. Here it's already okay. This is interesting. Oh. Yeah, we don't need to wait for hours, but depend on Crossplane, it should work. But let's see. Yes, good. Thanks God. It's false. I did not do anything, right? And it should back to true again. Yeah, it will be so bad if not working. So yeah, this is good. It's false. Argo CD is not working, and it should back true again. I hope so. Yeah. Yes, it's working. Okay. So let's back Argo CD to working again to show something else if we have time. Okay, no one kicked me out, so it's fine. Okay, let's go here, and I would like to create a new S3 bucket with different name. I will name it demo, and here we'll do demo and change the region to 1, and I will just commit this by demo, commit, push. Okay, I'm using bad practice master, but just for the demo purpose. And I expect that if it's enable, need to be enable both, that Argo CD will check there's problem already and start to sync and deploy those to your cluster, and then the Crossplane will deploy to AWS a new deployment, so we can see what's going on here. Oh, not yet. Okay, maybe it will not work. Who knows? Yep. So it's deployed to Kubernetes cluster, and we can actually see there is new bucket as we was actually watching the buckets create a demo instead of quick start or plus the quick start and false and true. So I expect after a while it will be true and true. We will find a new bucket. So it's showing the whole cycle from Git to AWS. So it should be less operation. Yeah. So yeah, new bucket coming here. It's called demo. Well, this is a simple way to show how the Argo CD with Crossplane and AWS work with each other. So, yep, questions. The demo is officially done. I will go to questions before demo destroy. Yes, I'm sure.
Yes. Well, I mostly work with Terraform, and one thing I love about Terraform is Terraform plan.
Yeah.
This is when it shows actually what is being changed in configuration and what's about to change.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a way to actually see that kind of?
No, this is one of things what's Crossplane not good in it. But if you define your your manifest file, this is what you will get. So
Yeah.
you're sure this is what you will get. If you want to see the draft, you can see the draft from Argo CD, or you can see the draft from the Git itself. So, but in Git, it will be in AWS. So, if your question is, can I do plan and see plan and then approve? No, this is not the flow.
Oh, like, can I see what's about to be changed? Because maybe somebody did some changes and I'm about to merge them and I'm not aware of that.
So, everything in AWS should be in the Git. So if you have conflict, it will be happening in the Git actually before you go into AWS. So this is so far to have conflicts. So your conflicts happen in Git. Oh, sorry. Some work, guys. We have all work. Yeah. So did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
I have a question about conflict.
So he's first and you're next. Yeah, sure.
I have a question about the providers. So, what's the parity for providers compared to like, cloud provider? Who is developing them? And,
Okay,
yeah.
so there is two people, like not two entities doing this. The contribution of Crossplane and Upbound actually have also provider. I can show you. So Upbound have provide and Crossplane have also to develop the provider. So there is Upbound have 4 official provider, AWS, Google, and Azure plus Terraform. So actually Crossplane can integrate with your Terraform.
The reason I ask this,
Yeah.
like I'm working with Terraform, and occasionally you stumble across a situation where you want to provision something, but through Terraform it's not possible because it's lacking the parity with the APIs that come from the cloud.
Yeah, so the contribution one and the other one is Upbound. So those is the both provider who develops the providers. So if you have issues, so you can go to Upbound, open ticket, or to go to community and open ticket there. If you have issues with Crossplane in this case.
But it's not like automatically generated or something.
So there is, what I understand, there is TerraJet using inside the whole providers. And with the official one, it should be automatically. So yeah, in the marketplace, you can find the providers. So this is the official providers. And here, sorry, and this is official, and there is a community one. Those only the officials. This come today, so they very fast development. I don't know what is this. Usually I saw this for, and there is a community which actually started, so you can find also AWS and Azure and different, depend on your case. So there's a lot of providers already developed. Even everyone can able to develop his own provider using Go, as I know. If there is no more questions,
I have.
yeah.
What will happen in case of, for example, conflicts that, for example, if I want to change some immutable resource that it's not allowed to change, where I will be able to see the conflict? Will it appear on Argo CD, or that it's unable to sync, or will I have to go to describe the resource to see whether?
So it's depend on the case, right? If Kubernetes is not able to deploy your resources, you will find the problem in Argo CD. But if the problem is the syncing with AWS, you will find the problem with, as you mentioned, you describe the resources, you find the events, and with the events you can know where is the problem. Like say, we have S3 bucket already used the name of it. So this is problem will not show in Argo CD, you will see it in Kubernetes, like as you mentioned, describe it. So,
One more.
yeah, sure.
Why do you choose Crossplane over Terraform, or it's just better in your situation? There is some difference.
Okay. So in my opinion, Crossplane is more GitOps friendly. I only use Kubernetes. I love Kubernetes. I want to use the same language, right? This is only like maybe these two benefits why you using Crossplane, not using Terraform in my case, right? what else? Yeah, reconciliation, cross Terraform don't have this. YAML, I don't need to learn a new language, HCL or whatever, like CDK maybe, another language. I don't want to learn a new one. Can use YAML as it's easy language and also follow the same, able to follow the same approach with GitOps. I think I already over time, so if you have more questions or if you would like to follow those GitOps or Crossplane, you can follow me on LinkedIn. Yeah, every 2 or 3 days I post something. So yeah, I will be so happy to have you in my community. Yep, thank you for joining.
Thank you very much for everything, Ramadan. And
yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. And now we have a short game. This computer.
It's, you need to take your own computer there.
Ah, right. For that.
I mean, I have it already on the screen. You know? Sorry.
And afterwards we'll present you the game. Those of you who've been here before, you might know this game already, and it's DevOps Talk.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So the main question is, how many of you do know what this game is about? Okay, a few people know. And the first thing that we need is a volunteer. Previously we had a person who wanted to do this, but he didn't appear.
And also mine.
Yeah. So the question is, who wants to volunteer? Okay, now we need some cricket sounds. Yeah, since we don't have any volunteers, I'm guessing we need to pick one at random. So I saw that one person knew what this game was about. Anton, please come here. I actually forgot. Don't worry, I will tell you the rules, don't worry. The rules are pretty simple. You will have about 15 random slides, and you have to give a presentation about them. Well, basically, you can make some DevOps presentation, yeah. Create a story, something interesting. The slides are interesting, don't worry about that. They should be fun, everything is safe. You will have about 20 seconds for each slide. So, are you ready?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Then, go ahead.
Yeah, so probably my face sometimes at work when I want something done. So this is how my story starts. And yeah, so you'll be very interested to see what's coming up next, actually. Right. So when I have such face, I usually, need to take some rest, right? So at work sometimes we do have some beer available, so I will grab some of that. And hopefully that removes my face, as you will see in the next slide, obviously. Exactly. So here, I start thinking, right? So everything starts working. I come back with ideas. Of course, it's all legal, right? So you can do that as well. And you can see how productive the environment becomes right now. You see? Immediately. So there was a beer, right? So we put things together, and then there's a pipeline straight away. That was pipeline built, right? So all I had to do is understand how to solve the problem. And actually, with this pipeline, we can have more beer, which obviously, you know what will happen? More productivity, more pipelines, more work done. And you see, from 1, we got 8 or more. Some of them are not very good. And we have a factory in the background, so everything is working. Beer factory in production. But you'll guess what's next, right? Can get only better right from here. Right. So everything is going smoothly, and then we get a colleague of mine getting upset over our productivity, probably overworked a bit. You saw all this nice stuff done before. And of course the solution is the same. We go back to beer, right? So in the next slide you'll... Right. So apparently beer is very flammable. So you have to be careful with that. So shut down your beer pipelines time to time, right? Clean them, etc. To avoid this situation. This is just example, not exactly what happened. What happened is the next slide, obviously. And you'll see it in a moment. So, right. Who to blame? We know, it's not appropriate actually to do that. It's just an example of how other companies deal with situations. You just go all to the first or second slide, right? To the few cups of beer and everything should be good. I think my mother took over this slideshow at that point and put a picture of ours. Just ignore this one, it's just, family stuff. Sorry for this actually, apologies. Apologies, yeah, just my brother. So, yeah. Oh, Kubernetes for a solution here, right? So, a little bit of advertisement here from the previous presentation. That's actually Abraham's slide right here. So, Abraham put you can solve everything with Kubernetes. So, but really, you know what's happening. The next slide is solving all our issues here. Just a moment for that. Right. So Abraham got to work. So basically, with his Argo CD, what he's doing here, kind of advertising himself right now. So yeah, pretty good thing built here by Abraham. Nothing to do with the fire previously, I don't know. But thanks. Yeah, back to our slides. So this is introduction. So back to our factory, everything is working. As I said, as long as the beer flows, everything is great. And the problems are solved. And everyone is happy. Look at that guy smiling there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Except Abraham deployed the wrong container there. XP, you found it somewhere. And that one crashed our system actually. It almost happened in the demo. But obviously, we're gonna fix it in the next one. So we're gonna rerun the Argo CD. And here we go. Back to our nice pipelines actually. Look at that. Completely clean background. It's totally real. But this is how it should be, right? So we see previously how these are rusty, etc. This is potentially what we're looking for when everything is working. This is what we reach for. Again, my family's picture. I can't remember this one. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure what to say. But it's a funny one actually, right? So someone's falling over in the background and that was the last slide, by the way.
So yeah, thank you, Anton. For those who want to play this game next time, you can become a volunteer and also do this little game. Good.
Alrighty, so we get to have our first break. So let's all gather in the kitchen area, have some food, have some drinks, enjoy yourselves, and we will vent the room a bit. Getting home. So the break is around 15 minutes.
All I see is you know, I am only junior and I don't always understand what's happening.
I'm junior too, but yeah, I can do.
Okay, thanks.
May I ask which project? Oh, we need to ask which project we have Crossplane, yeah.
And we need to find something else.
Yes, to ask about it, yes.
I was thinking, who is this guy?
Okay, different?
Yeah.
This is very old. This is my one. You can imagine what happened. You are working.
Because it will use Well, don't put it even in Freud, so yes, it makes good. What I'm doing in community, it's a lot of dudes. Well, not anymore. We have Vienna left, so we need Okay, you can read the original. Yes. The original. No pressure, but everyone expects you to join. So, it's a choice, but it's not. No pressure. No, it's only one meeting every Friday for half an hour. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We split up the classes anyways. So for this event, what I was the lead up on this event, we have it together. This usually gets a week and weeks off, and then I take care of the premises. It's not that much.
Like how this
So we have a Trello board where we have like tickets, what is happening for in the future, you know, how to make this better. The idea is to get together and like you like go through the tickets and look at them usually. It's nice that people come to it, but it's nice that people show up so they can present when it was online, yes, I remember this in the summer. It was in the summer, right before Bigo. It was like 3 people online. Like, what?
I can save you.
Okay, what else?
Just be a pretty face in front of the slides.
The ones that actually change is like marketing, like writing the post, but the post is kind of the same always. Yeah, it's almost like the push and say everyone, please share it. I think it's mostly the article. Would be nice if we actually knew someone who's good at making the poster. There's AI for it now, so I guess we'll do that. The poster is quite the struggle for us always. All these swipes are good things for us. Actually, I think it's beautiful presentation. It's all really fancy and went through it. It looks very, very nice.
Numbers on the first slides.
It's just a zoom in.
Could I do it? I wanted to ask, is there like a way to participate if you're not a GA? There was a slide in DevOps. Like, I'm not, like, I'm only learning about DevOps at the moment, so
Okay.
I'm not like fully into it, so just looking for a way to participate, to merge myself deeper into this.
These events are pretty good if you start sometimes you have like a lot of good new tools or even like the basic ones. You can learn a lot here and afterwards as well when you have the discussion. It's very interesting because people talk about the issues they have in their like they most pressing things in their so out here huh?
Essentially, that's my life. Yeah. Software developers. Sustavis mērķi, so uzņēmuma ietvaros es esmu
First good decision.
Jā, tikai nonācis vienošanos ar mūsu CEO, ka mēs izskatīšanos vairāk DevOps, bet mums nav īsti DevOps vietas, kur kā vēl opcija. Jums ir kā giraffe.
I have no idea what that is.
Virtuālās stūres.
Cool. Jums nav DevOps vispār.
Because now response. Jā, ir kaut
Būs robots strādā tur? Oh shit! Okay.
Jā, bet jā, es tas uzstāju.
Tas ir ļoti cool. Congratulations. Yeah, I got a problem.
Tas ir tikai mēģinājums, tagad tas ir kurs, bet problēma ir tikai tāda, vai cilvēkiem var rādīt tos organizācijas, vai viedokļus. Tu vari iet, tā kā uzsīkā, tā kā nekas sveic, tā kā nesaka, nezinu, to kā nezinu, tās lietas.
Lai atsveicinātu kaut kādu bet tur jāskatās tieši, kur certifikāts, projektāts, nav tāds. Pavācies nedēļas nogali, tev viss sanāk.
Es kā cenšos jūs iet
Līdz kuram netiks to.
Man ir slikta uzņemties par daudz, un tad esam aizvīties.
Ko es padarīju īstenībā arī draugs developers. Viņam daudz vispār nav. Tad es viņam jau, cik es viņam, es jau demonstrāts esmu 10 gadus, un jau 10 gadus es viņam, kā mēs runājam, mēs tur darām, tagad mums gadiem šādi tur sākam. Šita kaut kāda projekta pārņemā, viņiem kaut kādi pipeline ir. Viņš tur sāk skatīties, viņš kaut tur prasa, viņš tur sāk ņemties. Jā, tagad viņam aizgāja, tagad viņš tāds jau tur visu kaut ko grib pamācīties. Tas tur tā pats saka, jā. Viņš tagad darīs, lai viņš paskatās apskatīt, lai to arī automatizē. Atsakoju ar teraponu, nav baigās starpība, mums ir visu starpība. Lielam būtu jāzina, cik vismaz apskatīt. Pēc formā. Tad developeru vajadzētu mums ļoti iebraukt viņus.
Jāzina, tas viss neesmu kā superfans tajā visam, jo es developers kā vispār kā tāds esmu tikai gadu. Es pirms tam ir tikai vairāk kopie līmeni, plāksni. Es šobrīd mācos universitātē. Es sāku strādāt ātrāk, kā sāku interesanti pieeja.
Otrajā pusē es tikai That's cool. Es gribētu, lai būtu strādāt, tad es vēl Vācijas universitātē.
Man diezgan sanāks tā, ka sāku strādāt, sāku mācīties, un bija tā, ka es pirmā gadus pavadīju, skatoties viesvēs, kā man nesakās. Un es man kursumieti mocījās, un tagad no 20 kursumietiem man ir palikuši 4.
Parasti kaut kādas jaunākas tehnoloģijas, kaut kādas procīgas, kaut ko ienākt. Bet no tā, es te gribētu pastīties kaut kādu Udemy, atskūt terapos, kaut kādu CI/CD.
Tā, ka es darbā, man sanāca arī organiski, daudz papīri, mums pats arī to pašu CI/CD, pipeline kaut rakstījušas. Tālas, es māku tikai sagatavot visu līdz tam, kas nākas sagatavot pipeline un visu lietas. Ok, so es kaut kāds papīrīšu.
Hitlerā, ok.
Es tālāk darbu.
Tas jau vien ir diezgan ok. That's fine.
Jā, gribētu.
Mācības, bet mācīties
No, it's something other. I was writing that reviews after achievement.
Ah, but this is just speaking.
Yeah, no, just I mean, no,
I got feedback from my colleague from the project, and he wrote me a project that we haven't seen so totally and technology knowing person. Need more stickers.
Find the drum. Yep. Thank you for doing.
Okay, so we can proceed. We can proceed with our presentations, and here we have Raina Dure Dobrowska with topic change psychology of resistance. So give a hearty applause for Raina.
So thank you. I'm happy and excited to be here. You are amazing. Listening to Ibrahim, I understood what I am like. He's speaking English, but I don't get the word. But okay, finally I got what it's something like self-healing system, what I like very much. But you will not only listen but ask questions, which means what it's you are. I'm not a psychologist. I will speak people-friendly language. Just in case. But I have questions. Question for you. Why you are here today? I mean, what is your motivation behind?
Learn new stuff.
Cool.
Very smart.
Very cool.
See the people.
Free content.
Free beer and interesting book.
Yes.
Finding the holes and the niggles.
Yes. So there is no good or bad motivation. But it's just motivation. It can be beer, it can be new contact, it can be learn something new, become smart. But why you need to become smart?
To earn more.
Okay.
To feel good.
Okay.
To be more productive.
Okay. Why? For what? I mean.
To earn more money.
Well, I'm not sure about more money, but when you
Yeah.
well, if you do your tasks better and faster, and well, your team lead doesn't know, it actually is earning more money because you spend a less amount of time earning the same amount of money.
Get more satisfaction.
So nice words, so clever words. Okay, yeah, I suppose also to be more competitive and to prepare for the change. Because if you are smart, you are more adaptive. If you are more adaptive, you have a chance to survive better in this world. So, second question is, who is the boss? Who has the people under? I mean,
Yeah.
1, 2, so 3. It doesn't matter how many people. 2, 1, 3, just people. So, and who has a boss? Okay. So,
Three bosses.
so you are imposing the change and you are suffering the change. Yes, I mean.
Yeah.
Who are in between you. I mean, they are in very challenging situations. So we are going today to talk about what this change actually is, how we react to this change, how it looks, or what it looks like, why change is good for us, and how to go with change. Some words about me. I am chemist technologist, biologically active substances. So it's not that simple. So it makes me have analytical thinking, ability to synthesize and structure information, so make some things out of that. So I have 2 MBAs. One is RICEBA 2001, and now at RBS. At the moment, I am writing my master thesis on corporate culture as a systemic approach to people motivation. So, and I have 8 years in manufacturing companies in high-tech industries. It means I understand how people and processes work in the companies, and I have 20 more years of managing Latvian Chemical Pharmaceutical Industry Association, so it's plenty of experience on communicating, listening to people, putting everyone in on one position and making strategies for them. So, and now I'm doing like business and transformational coaching. I work with companies, but mainly I work with people. So we make strategies to understand where we're going. We look at the processes, how they work, and we work with change management. I work with teams on effective communication and decision making and conflict managing and engagement and motivation, and I work with leaders on leadership skills. A very popular topic now, emotional intelligence, but we have also strategic intelligence and social intelligence, so everything about people. What is the change? I forgot to say, this is Rodney Lewis Smith. I like his pictures because they are about emotions, and he has a vision to put emotions on pictures. So, and they go very well with the stuff what we are going to discuss today. So, what is the change?
It's destruction of something existing and creating from the part something new.
Yes.
Oh. Difference between current state and present state.
Future. Yes.
Or past, or any.
And any other? No, you are right. You are right, and you are right. Yes.
Simply something is changing on the way when we do something, and we are just adopting to it and making it still going somehow.
Yeah, it's external. At least it's changing status quo to some different states. You know, we had something, and we changing. It was status quo. Now we have a change, and change can come from plenty of sources. It's like professional employment. You have new job role, you are getting team lead or something like that, you have new boss, you have new job responsibilities, you have new technologies. You're coming with, how it was, Crossplane? You have to adapt, but you know what another one is better because he has a history of change. And you have cultural norms like social attitudes, political, economic systems, what is very actual now at the moment. You have environment like physical surrounding. You working in your small cubicle, and then suddenly bosses decide what will be open office. And you now, introvert, sitting in open office, people around are going around, and you are trying to survive in new environment. So relationships, divorce, breakups, marriages, friendships, kids are burning, birth for kids. I mean, some get free at once, like it was in January. I know this guy, he was quite stressed. And physical, mental health, self-awareness, lifestyle goals, priorities, we can change ourselves. So change is everywhere. And change is unavoidable because every time something happening, and you have to adapt again. So it can be just adaptation, adjustment a little bit. Yeah, so we need to do something just to screw up a little bit, and we will get something going on, and we have transformation when we get something different. For business world, for example, it's like we have to increase turnover by 5%. We just adapt a little bit some technology, and we get new results. And otherwise, we have something like, I don't know, Honda going to be best of the best, and then we have to adapt to every different style of working in general. So, what is do you remember some situation when you experience change, like boss bring some change?
Every day.
Okay. Can you share what you think and what you feel at the moment when every day change is coming?
Frustration because I don't really understand why it's changing so much every day.
Thank you. You are really helping me Anyone else?
Excitement.
Sorry? Excitement?
Fear, anger.
Depending on change, I tend to like embrace it with positive emotions. At least I most of the time I tend to do it. Because,
You tend to do it, yes?
Yeah, well, because if you like approach every upcoming change with negative emotions, then you sort of like program yourself into like seeing everything in, like in gray colors. I don't know.
Yes.
That might not be clear.
Yes, it's clear. We will talk
It
about
also
that.
depends on what sort of change it is. A process change, or we need to make code changes. That's every day.
And also it
Process
was
change is not
expected
every day.
And but what is every day?
Like code change, like we are developing this product, it's changing continuously, and this is coming from the management, you know.
And how do you feel?
Well, there's normal, yeah, it's normal everyday process.
You're used to that, right?
Yes.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Okay. First, guys who were talking about fear and anger and other stuff, do you know what amygdala is?
Yeah, that was the one that's responsible for a flight or fight mechanism, or am I wrong?
Yes, exactly. So we have amygdala. Amygdala is two red dots in our brain who are responsible for survival. It was developed almost in the beginning, because it was so important. Okay, all evolution is depending if we survive or not. So, idea of nature was to keep us living and, I don't know, reproducing and developing. So, and they building, what is in a computer system, what is shutting system down if something goes wrong?
Electricity. No electricity.
Sorry? Okay, it's something like that. So when boss is coming and saying it's over, we are doing now everything different, so we'll just shut down, because at this moment your idea is just survive. Because attention time, when we were living in cages, if tiger came by, so we had to hide or run, because everyone who was a little bit more curious was just eaten up. This system still exists, and every time if we experience something sudden, even positive sometimes, we go through the shutdown mode for at least, then we learn how to deal with that. But before, all this limbic system is shutting down, everything was in frontal and prefrontal cortex. When we able to think, analyze, make decisions, and adapt to situation. So it just automatically shutting down, and you got nothing to do with that. Because it's a built-in system. And to turn back to humans, the second brain, what colleague was saying, so he knows how he reacts and switch it intentionally. Then we have switching hormones. From cortisol we are going to dopamine. We expect nice results in future, so we can start function. But we cannot avoid this cycle. And this cycle looks like what? It's combined from grief cycle and transition model from Williams Bridges. And we go through this curve every time when we experience change. We have shock, denial, anger, frustration, resignation, exploration, negotiation, and acceptance. If you're talking about resistance happens if we stay in the left side of the curve, like shock, denial, anger, frustration. Even if we got promotion, at the moment we are happy, we wanted it, but then it's come to our mind, how much resources do we need, what family will say, how we will, how we will manage all this stuff, and all these hundreds of people would not find suddenly we get under us, and we still go to this mode. And then we go to this, let's say, after the cycle is over, we are able to explore, to check what is going actually on, and how to deal with that, and how to accept that, with productivity at the moment during the stress. I'm talking it also for those who have people behind, or under. I mean, your super subordinates go through this cycle again. If you come to them, saying what something different has to be done, comparing what we're used to do, they will be going through this cycle. And it's automatic. It's nothing to do with you, your idea, or need of the company or change. It just automatically does. How fast we will go through this curve, it will depend on our experience, genetics, how open we are to changes, yeah, and our previous experience to change, and our ability to be flexible, cognitive flexibility, self-awareness, if you know what is going on, what is automatic, what we think in this situation. So it will be very, very subjective, very, very individual. So in this case, change is just situation. It's objective reality. What is going on, it's transition. We have to let go how we were doing things before, how we are in some way, to change, transit in something different, how we will be doing things. So who was trying to implement some good habits during, I don't know, a couple of years?
Trying?
Trying, yeah. Who did it, actually? What did you do?
I tried to get sleep before 11, and I put the alarm on 5 minutes before 11 to remind me that I have to go to bed.
And you succeeded, yeah?
Most of the time.
What about hours?
What is the definition of good habits?
I don't know. It depends. Positive for your body. Yeah, something positive for you. Well, I try to quit smoking. I'll try.
It's easy, I've done it a dozen times.
Yes, and we resist the transition not because we can't accept the change. We want to change, but it means what we will lose the friends, we will get something different in our surroundings. We have to change something like we are. So, and this is the biggest resistance come from. And our stuff, you have heard probably about Abraham Maslow pyramid.
Yes.
Yes. Why it is important?
Oh, now I have to say it. Last time I said it because it's damaging design thinking. Or proving my design thinking is not working. That's why. No.
Okay, we are intended to go up to this pyramid while satisfying the needs down the pyramid. I mean, like psychological needs, like physiological needs and safety needs. They are first. If change is coming, we are worrying about what will be with our physical environment or, let's say, safety at work. I mean, if we knew, okay, just imagine, company is introducing new system. I don't know what can be a simple example of that. So just an old guys who were making this system before, like old email system, or all sysadmins, yeah, basically. So technology is changing. Guys what used to build up the system were outdated. When you come with idea, oh cool, we have this Crossplane. So you can imagine this guy's reaction. So it means what he cannot manage. It's the same as with all the years people who just working on Word stuff and cannot accept Excel tables, even this one. So we just feel awfully because they are under risk of losing job. Okay, then next is love and belonging. We want to be part of the team. We want to be part of the nice. We want to have nice colleagues around. And next is esteem. We have to be self-respecting. We have to grow. We want to have status recognition, more money as well, and then self-realization when we want to be the best of we can be. And all these needs is built in as well in us. In opposite, what we have, it's a fear, hierarchy of fear. And we can, if we combine these together, we can see what at the moment we want to be safe, but we want also, okay, let's go with love and belonging. From one point, we want to be part of the team. Oh, okay, we want to manage. I love this girl or boy, and I want, and then we come to the church, and and bride disappears because of that. Because of fear, what is coming to loss of autonomy. We want to belong to someone, but at the same time, we want to not to lose our autonomy and decision-making abilities. From one point, we want esteem, we want respect and status, but from another point, we are afraid of abandonment, rejection, devaluation, and our stuff. Because if we do something different, we risk what others around us didn't accept it, and they will push us away, let's say something like that. We want self-actualization. We want to speak publicly. From our side, we are afraid that we will get tomatoes because we are saying something wrong. So there are plenty of stuff going on in us, inside of us, and each time if we introduce a change in the system, we are going down by the pyramid and checking like a self-healing system where its damage is done. How it looks in reality, it can be divided just to understand what is going on. It can be divided in personal, emotional, and structural and rational. Emotional stuff, personal one, will sound like I don't understand why. And what happens when I don't trust you? If we take this pyramid of needs, what is it about?
Well, it's like the primer safety.
It's about safety, yes. It's a fear. Because when we say I don't understand why, I don't have enough information. If I don't have enough information, I start assuming. If I start assuming, usually like negative stuff. Because nobody is taking care of me. I'm afraid what I'm abandoned almost here. Yeah, nobody thinks about me. So second one is structural and emotional. They can be interlinked because it's a mixture of emotions inside. So we are not broken. We are tired of change. We are two separate things, but we are both about the same stuff. We are not broken because what I was doing before, now it's wrong. We are coming with change. It means what I was done all these years, I don't know, 20, 30 years in company, is bad. We want to change it. All my life I was spending towards making this stuff cool, and they are coming with this new idea. I got one case when guy was coming to me and asking what I have to do with this guy because he is rejecting collaboration because we are going to implement something new. Consultants are coming into company, and guys who would be responsible for that just refusing to go to them. What is going on? What is about him? And he also can use him because if he's negative, he can check this consultant proposal from the back perspective, you know? even this kind of resistance can be used for improving the system what consulting is going to provide. So, and we are tired of change. Sometimes it's true, because if you every day you have something new, you get tired of that, and then you quit. But sometimes it's just an emotion what we are too overloaded, and we are then cannot bear anymore any new stuff. So third one is rational and personal. What if I don't? Okay, we introduce this Crossplane. What if I don't continue to use this Terra? Yeah. So what? Okay, you can send me into this, I don't know, Excel courses, but I will continue to put formulas by hand, or even without formulas, I'll calculate and put it. Whereas some plenty of stuff what we experience with people dealing with technologies. So if you have not placed in place the system who would limit use of old system, you will be definitely getting into the trouble of doing the old things in old way. I don't have the skills. It's very rational. You have to learn, you have to teach. And what about my value? It's the same. How did I fit into new system? If I able to fit into new system. And for fourth one, we don't have resources. The change is not right for us. If these three before we are, let's say, silent or covert or passive resistance, we are just not doing things. We're just refusing to do, refusing to learn, refusing to explore. We are in the left part of the curve. This one is active resistance. People know a lot. Especially it's in big companies. When bosses decided we have new strategy, we will do this new strategy, and they just impose this new strategy and new processes on the people downstairs. And they know things better because nobody came to them and asked how it actually looked like. And then we have active resistance. And usually these people who actively resist, like speaking up in the meetings, saying it's not possible, we are not going to do it, it's not logical, they usually get fired. Because nobody likes resistance, because bosses decided. And if bosses decided, you have to. So, in this case, what I am teaching people, bosses in the companies, you have to listen exactly to these people. Because they know how things, if you do not negotiate, they are in negotiation stage. They're asking for additional resources, additional help, or some changes in the timeline. Because they need to adapt the processes to the new idea. It's not so easy, especially in some complicated systems. So change is not right for us. It's the same about the knowing exactly. It's about expertise. You are an expert. You know how things are done, what is possible at the moment, what we can do in some future. So, but why we actually need change?
To survive.
Yes.
To perform competitor.
Yes.
To earn more.
Yes.
To stay competitive.
To stay competitive, yeah. Changes of everywhere. It changes pushing. Okay, life is pushing us to develop. It's one. Another one, we have built-in systems to self-actualization. We want to improve. We want to get smarter. We want to learn new things because it's fun. It's interesting. It's another emotion than fear when you're learning something else. So, staying in comfort doesn't mean safety. Because, okay, those who have people, I always forget this word. If you have people like subordinate, he is doing something not, I don't know, he's not perfect, but you can survive. You can't survive sometimes, you can survive because you want to be in comfort, you are not imposing him your view, you are not, you do not want to get him out of comfort, you do not want to have conflict. You will stay, and then after some time, life is changing, competition is growing, this guy is still underperforming, and you getting more and more and more pissed by handling. You get more and more anger. And then you come to this guy because of your panic. But competition is growing and you are not performing, you punish him. Then you feel bad, you go back to comfort, and this cycle exists. So idea is to find the way out of this cycle, because if you do nothing with comfort, you will be outdated. Like Kodak, I don't know, who didn't manage to go from films to digital stuff. So, and in this stage of panic, you have to listen to people. Because we're coming back to this matrix, people are talking to you. But behind the things, what they're actually saying, you have to find the need, what they actually want to fulfill. It can be safety, you just explain them what change will be good for them in this and this way, and they are not suffering. For those who are suffering, it's better to know as early as possible what they are suffering because of change, because then you have more time to adapt, or you can provide them some security stuff to if they need to be let off. We are trying to avoid these unpleasant situations, but they are not good for people, because they go through this cycle and they will start to adapt. But keeping them into the, I don't know, in this resistance stage, it's cortisol's running, its cocktail is like he feeling bad. And it's continuous, and then you get more resistant to change. And then in stage of panic, you can understand if we need additional training, you train them. If we need just explanation, you explain them. If we have something to say you about the processes from expert review, you involve them into change team, just to have the feedback and get this control. Because if people are unmanaged, with a resistant to change, we can make your life very, very bad. Because if we make up alliances, they sabotage the process, they do not implement things, and you get nothing. 75% of this change doesn't happen, or doesn't happen till the end, because because of poor communication and lack of management support. That people do not understand why. People are afraid of losing safety and comfort, cannot control the situation, and negative experience before. And everything is about communication. If you do not manage to communicate, so I have two solutions. One is for leader's perspective. Plan well. You are writing, if you're taking some contract, you will have this technical specification. Or the design or something like that. You design things. You know what you get in the end. You know how it will go into system in general, and you plan things very carefully. The same is with people. You have to understand yourself what actually you are going to change, and how it will look like. How change will look like when implemented, where we will be, why it is relevant and necessary. People are two ways of people. One are moving from something, and another one are moving towards something. This from something also work. If we do not manage change, we will be, I don't know, in a bad situation. We will not get salaries and other stuff. And towards new carrot, it also works. But you have to build your communication on both reasons. What we will avoid, and towards which benefits we will get. So, where we will see in future, who will be affected in details, and how. Because if you do not plan, just assume what they will manage itself, system like manage itself, it will not happen. So, and when do we expect to take action, and how we will involve or deal with those who are impacted by a change? From the subordinates' perspective, who are suffering by change, yeah, it's like idea is to build in this self-healing system like Crossplane. Yes. Change happens. Something did something with I don't know how it was deleted something in the system. So you have to adapt. You have to build in the system what colleague. What is your name?
Me?
No, was saying what the coming from negative to positive. Yeah. Wilmars was saying what he has with built-in system who check up all the time what is going on and how I react. It's about self-awareness. How I react. If I feel bad, why I feel bad. I'm feeling bad not because of change. I'm feeling bad because I am not secure. I'm not sure what I will manage. I do not have resources and I'm afraid. And then it's better to check this proactive approach to self-heal, like go and check out what actually here is for me. I mean, what actually is changing for me. Because if I know what is actually changing, I can adapt the system. I can adapt all these wires around to myself. So why are these changes taking place? What is the reason behind? Because if I don't know, I'm going and checking out what is going on. And what is here for me for development. It's any change. In the private life as well. If your husband, I don't know, or wife decided to buy a bike and you're afraid because it will disappear from the house now for ages, but you have kids, and so
Insurance.
Yes, but you have to when you check what is actually meaning, what does actually mean, and talk about that, you can find the solutions for that. You can find this crossplane crossplane system that will adapt your systems to the new reality, new status quo. Because he will buy the bike. But if he's not buying the bike, he will be unhappy. If he will be unhappy, you will suffer. So it's better to find the way how to do it. So then who can you turn for support if you need some new ideas, new skills, or new resources when you will be starting to adapt to the situation, and how you remain flexible, resilient, and open-minded in face. So it's just a building system, but we have to just train. It's brain is very flexible. It's like neuroplasticity. If you repeat the things regularly, you can get to this automatic stuff like if something is happening, I'm looking what is positive in that and try to adapt to that as fast as possible, because we cannot, if we are staying in the stress zone, in resistance zones, the resistance getting more and more severe, and pain is more and more painful. And our idea is to be open-minded and check it. So just summing up, so change is unavoidable. It can cause stress because of disrupt the familiar patterns. Humans have a natural drive to seek out new experience. It's a natural, it's built in. And factors such as flexibility, positive attitudes can help move us from the fear to curiosity. Because motivation, what we are talking about in the beginning, it's curiosity. I'm curious to meet new people. I'm curious to learn new skills because it's make me more secure and make me more money, and I can express myself better. And curiosity, switching from fear to curiosity, it's a task what we need to learn. Not task, a skill what we need to learn in every situation. Because then we open this prefrontal cortex or frontal part of the brain, and we can think, we can create, we can find the constructive solutions. When we were talking about everyday changes, for some people it's unavoidable, or it's unbearable. If you cut every day, you have something to change, it's getting people very, very stressed. People burn out just because they have different genetic and previous experience stuff would mix in them. So not everybody can manage this kind of job. Sometimes it's better to look for something, to be somewhere in different place. So plan well and be proactive. Gain clarity, because of clarity, if you have clarity, you have ability to control situation, even if it seems uncontrollable. So thank you very much for your, yep.
Exactly, this one, can I take for change reasons this part for 2 minutes?
Sorry?
The question part? Can I take the question part for 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I have this already ready, I just made it. Wait, just a second. And then I will come on stage. Ryan, don't run away. Number one, what I have heard from this in this speech, which is very nice, is embrace change. There's a guy with the name Kent Beck. Who knows him? Kent Beck. Put your arm up. What did he do?
He was like one of the guys before or not?
Yeah, he was one of the Agile Manifesto guys. Yeah. And he was one of the first authors about extreme programming, which is basically about change. So perfect story for the developers who live in all agile organizations, which should be very change oriented, basically. It didn't change there because, yeah, obviously, I'm not on the screen. Can anybody see this one? Now we are in the funny situation that I have to change the plug. 1 second.
I'll change. How you feel?
I'm stressed.
No worries about this.
I'm trusting the situation.
Process.
Yeah.
There, for a moment.
Embrace it, yeah. I would have.
It's so good to be human.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so it's so small, it's not coming. It's amazing. Sorry.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Waiting.
Yes, I have. Excellent presentation, thank you. Well, often I'm in a position where you join an organization and I'm doing like actual work. There's a manager or some management level, and you wanna, as a subordinate, you wanna implement some change. So this presentation is more about the changes coming from top down. That was my understanding. How do you influence change going bottom up? Because often, you maybe have more experience, some better process that you see that it would work better for the organization or your, bigger team. How would you communicate that up?
Well, it depends on your boss, because if the boss, you have to know your boss. Does he like details, or he is emotional, or he is thinking about earning more money, or he is afraid of the boss of work because every change usually is about money. If it's not the internal resource, it's about trust. It's plenty of things what can be inside, yeah. But if you, as I said, we deal from the perspective away from something and towards something. So what is here for him as well, and what we avoid. It's the same planning, how it will look like. and how much resources it will take.
Basically, you can prepare those answers to those questions and then just hope that your boss is going to sort of spend some time with you and listen in.
It depends on your tradition and culture in the company. Sometimes you need to build alliances as well. You go to the boss, you go some horizontally who is suffering. If you are not implementing change, someone is definitely suffering. You find someone who is suffering and build an alliance with him, because it will be good for, and it can be built like layer by layer, just depending on the actual situation and actual people around. Because there are some bosses in the mid-level who do not take decisions. They would avoid taking decisions at all costs, because it means if you are wrong, he will be feeling bad because of him, not because of you, but he will have to adapt to the, if something goes wrong. And people just don't like to be accountable, responsible. There are plenty of reasons why they refuse to.
Thank you. Build alliances.
Yes.
Know your people.
Yeah, and know your people, talk to your people and listen to them from the perspective what they actually need. Not what they are talking, but what they actually need. If it is security, or maybe boss wants self-actualization, he wants to build new great things, and you will support him and he will be happy. It depends what he wants.
You need to find the boss weaknesses. Just listen what he's saying and pay attention to details, and you will find out everything. It's so easy.
Blackmail.
My husband told me that you must be a salesperson.
No.
Yes, because you need to sell your skills for the price. You need to
My
sell your
wife says I'm
ideas.
the worst seller, because if I'm selling everything I will show. Not showing the best thing, I will always show the bad things. So I want to be a clean.
But it's create trust.
Yeah.
And it's also a way to sell.
No, but I'm not selling.
Nah,
don't say so. I just grow the other way.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually those questions was a little bit answered. Again, thank you for your topic. It's an interesting topic. I was thinking about this topic around 2 years, watching the people psychologics, and the question actually is, what is your how to say, what you could what could be the best way to work with people to minimize the risk of their rejection and get faster to acceptance?
First you.
Okay, it's again, knew your people.
I'm just interested in your opinion.
To minimize resistance, you have to be clear yourself what and why you are doing. Because sometimes we, let's say in Latvian, it comes. You know, when you are sure, your energy is different. If you know what it's good and you are like here, know what this is good, people will believe much better than if you are shaking, like you are not sure. It can be, how to say, I putting all minus stuff also, just to be, you know, secure.
Not secure, I just don't like to lie.
Yes, it depends.
Or hide something bad.
It's in positioning. You can present pluses and minuses, and people can make informative decision. But if you, it's about positioning, let's say. Because if you do not feel like secure, people do feel the same, and I mean, the stuff is the same, yeah? We want to go for something for better, you know, we want to grow, it's automatic, it's built in. How we present this possibility to grow, and if there are right people with you, because it also can be questioned. They are not fitting into your team because they have some different motivation. It's a people, you know. There are plenty of stuff why people do resist. One is
How to
information.
prepare employees, for example?
Check before. Check before. What is wrong? What can be done better? It's like a questionnaire. What we are doing great, and what we can do better. If you find what we can do better, you can provide solution. What we can do different better. But by this you make people think, because I said automatically they assume it will be for worse. You have to give them an hour opinion what it will be, even because of flaws, even despite of flaws, it will be much better, and you will manage to. Because people do not accept the risk. Because if something, as you said, doesn't work perfectly, they will be blamed what they didn't manage, they will blame themselves. So there are plenty of stuff why people hesitate. If you go through this, I don't know, even through this needs pyramid, you will find what is it about security, by job perspective, by career perspective, is it about their ability to shine, probably who is resisting the most probably want to be included in the team because he has more control in that case.
It's as I said, you need to find each person's weaknesses.
Yes, and when we teach companies about motivation and involvement, we cannot involve them. We cannot motivate them. We have to motivate and involve each of them individually.
So we need to look.
Yes, and why you have this team leads approach and so on, because you can manage 7-10 people. You cannot manage more. No, just, I mean, understand what they are thinking, what their values are, how they do decide on something, how they perform. You can provide with regular feedback. I mean, it's not good when you go to people once a year and asking how they're doing. You need to do it at least once in a quarter, because then you can correct if something's wrong. And then you have to know why, what is behind of that, what they feel about that. And then you have a table. In the table you put all these your notes, and then you check around to their notes, yeah, how they behave, how they react to change, how they perform on their everyday duties. It's a work of leadership, let's say. And the highest you coming, the more people you become, less experts and technologists. You have to know them, and you have to be able to see them, their good parts and their flaws, as you said in the system is the same. And you accept them, or if you don't accept them, okay, sorry.
I usually trying, depending on the change, but I'm usually trying to not only questioning, but only trying to find spots for each person to involve them in the changes so they can feel that the change comes from them. But you're right, you need to understand the person, because if person, for example, is very ambitious, you need to use those things to motivate him. Yeah, but actually I usually try to involve them, so then there is much less risk for the rejection.
Yes, but if you also have this culture of the team, your vision as a team, your values as a team, what is acceptable, what you are tolerating, what you do not tolerate.
Sometimes you do a change to totally unknown persons.
Then you have to explore, exploration.
And on this note, we will wrap up the questions. Andrei wanted to say
I'm so
something.
sorry.
I I only would say do planning poker and don't go on discussions during the planning poker, because then you will get it all. I mean, the answer on the approach on his work, like do a planning poker session. Really, it helps.
All right, so thank you very much, Rainer, for your great presentation. So I hope everyone enjoyed this and everyone enjoyed the event.
There was one slide with the contact. Can you show it once again?
Which, the previous one.
Yeah.
One slide back.
One back? Yeah, with the QR LinkedIn info. I'll take pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say, thanks for all our great presenters today, and thanks for showing these great presentations. And I will have a slide for you to leave feedbacks, how you like the talks, how you enjoyed the event in general. And there's a section as well where you can leave feedback for us. What would you like to see in the future? So what went well, what didn't, stuff like this. Yeah, and this means that nothing's over quite yet. Actually, I could put on the correct one for you, so you can do the thingy.
It's nice.
Still, with Raina's face. Yeah, this is what? Maybe without the mouse. Does it work?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this is the feedback form. If you would be so kind and leave some feedback about the talks, so we can leave some feedback to the presenters, how you liked it in general and how you liked the event as a whole. So that would be very much appreciated. And now, what comes next? We will have this discussion portion of us, and I hope that our lovely presenters can stay as well and maybe suggest some topics that are dear to their hearts, and maybe we can discuss that later. If you want to stay, we will move to the area of the kitchen area, I would say, and there we will then have like a little discussion session, which will be led by Moratan, and he will explain the rules then once we go there. But other than that, thank you everyone for coming. A hearty applause for the presenters and presents.